Hey everyone, it's Bryce from Reviews to Rambles, and today we are going to talk about the Mag Spotter hooks, the pros, the cons, and whether or not these things are actually worth 60 bucks of your hard-earned cash. Okay, so before we dive into this, let's talk about some details on the hooks themselves. First of all, you get the hook and you get the neoprene wrap. The neoprene wrap wraps around the dumbbell handle and the black steel bar in the back, which helps to hold the dumbbell in place. It also actually helps to protect your hands from getting pinched between the bar and the dumbbell handle. Now, this is one continuous piece of steel all the way around, with the exception of this back piece, which appears to be welded on. And so on the top, you'll notice there is a vinyl coating. This vinyl coating is where it hooks onto your bar, and that's to protect the knurling of the bar. These are graded for 170 pounds or 80 kilograms per hook. That you can do 170 pounds. It's quite a lot of weight that these will actually support. A couple of the basic dimensions. So from top to bottom, it's about 10.25 inch, and then from side to side, outside of cap to outside of cap, it's about 4.75 inch. So if your dumbbell shaft or the handle itself is shorter than 4.7 inches, you do not want to get these for your dumbbells because they will not fit. It has to be at least 4.7 inches in length in order for the dumbbell to fit into the sleeve. For two hooks, the neoprene wraps, you can get these for basically 60 bucks shipped. It's $59 plus tax shipped. So it's a pretty amazing deal, but let's talk about whether they actually work and whether they serve the function that they were designed for. Okay, anytime you're buying a product, you have to ask yourself, what niche does this fill? So what is this actually good for, and how is this going to help me? So these Mag Spotter hooks are designed to help protect your shoulders on the initiation of pretty much, I'd say, primary chest press. You can also use them for military press, but that's really the main goal of these hooks. And they prevent you from having to do this. Lift one up, lift another one up, and then kick it back and fall into place. Do your set, and then heave them back up and set them back on the floor. So they're designed to prevent you from having to do that. So let's see what it actually looks like when we hook them up and how they work. All right, so given the fact that these are about 10.5 inches in length, or 10 inches from the bottom of the hook to the bottom portion of the hook here, you need to increase the bar height about 10 inches in order to have an appropriate fit. So when you lift off, it's in the same position as it would be with your barbell lift. So for instance, for me, I usually have my J hooks on the 20 hole, and I actually move them up to the 25 hole, which gives me approximately 10 inches. The other thing to note is there are two ways you can actually load these weights. The classic way, and I say the classic way because this is the way I've seen other people do it, is to basically take the dumbbell, and these are the Iron Master dumbbells with the additional 15-pound insert. You could take the dumbbell, you pick it up, you set the dumbbell in place, then you take the neoprene wrap it, and you're set. So that's one way to set up the dumbbell. It's my least favorite way to actually do it. My favorite way to do it is to take the Mag Spotter hook while the dumbbell is sitting in a place where it's easily managed, set the hook up, so you basically slide the hook in, then you take the wrap. Now all you have to do is pick up the dumbbell, and you just set it on the hook. So to me, it's easier to hook it down here than set it up, especially with these Iron Masters, because I'm literally working with minimal space between the edge of this cap and this weight plate. If you have longer dumbbell handles, you won't need to worry about that because it'll be a lot easier to hook them up. With very narrow handles, I find that it's easier to set them up from the ground. Okay, so let's see how these work in practice. Right now I have 90 pounds of Iron Master sitting on the hooks. They're holding just fine. Actually, they don't feel like they're working hard to hold that weight at all. So then I just drop back. I can get into position. Do my set, I rack the weight, and I'm done. So you basically get into position, lift off, do your set, then re-rack it, and that's all there is to it. So overall, was it easier than heaving the weight up? Absolutely. The other thing to note is that you can actually perform the exercise with or without the neoprene. If you remove it, you still have this bar in the back, which is where your hand wraps around like so. And then you can actually, I'll do it reverse. So, and then when you grab the weight, it secures it in place. However, this hook tends to shift slightly, and when it shifts, it can actually pinch the skin between your index finger and your thumb between the dumbbell and the hook, which is pretty uncomfortable. So I prefer to use it with the neoprene, but it's really kind of whatever you prefer. I think the more important reason to use it with the neoprene is because the neoprene sleeve actually adds an extra layer of safety to using these hooks. Because if you don't have the neoprene wrapped around the hook, then the hook can easily dislodge from the dumbbell. That's a problem when the dumbbell is sitting above your face, right? So I prefer to have a neoprene wrapped around and just accept that it's going to have a slightly different tactile sensation. All right, so let's talk about one of the biggest disadvantages of a Mad Spotter hook for the home gym owner. So we just saw how these work great for the Iron Masters. Even with the additional weight insert on the handle, it has to be wider, or the handle has to be longer than 4.7 inches. However, a lot of home gym owners have the Dumbbells, and as you can see, the Dumbbells will not hook onto the Mad Spotter hook, and that is because the handle is shorter than 4.7 inches. So it's a little bit of a bummer, but then I was thinking maybe these would work with the power blocks. Obviously you cannot use it from the front. By the way, this is a knurled handle. This handle comes from JD Equipment. It's stainless steel. It's amazing. I'll put a link down below, but they're excellent handles. So you can't use it from that side because you need to grab it from the front side. So then in order to hook it, you actually have to try to drop the hook in. But as you can see, once the hook's in there, it cannot get back around the handle. You lose the ability to use these for the power blocks and for the Dumbbells, but you do have the ability to use these for the Iron Masters. I know Mad Spotter is saying that they're actually going to start working on this. So whether that happens or not, we'll see. But at this point, if you are using either the power block or the Dumbbell, these will not work for you. Okay, so what are the main exercises that you can use these Mad Spotter hooks for? Flat, incline, and decline bench, and then the standing military press. Here is an example of the standard military press. So just as easy as it is to unrack and re-rack with the flat bench, incline bench, or decline bench. Now, the seated military press will put the hooks at an awkward angle for the shoulders, so I actually think that it's more risky to use these for seated military press as opposed to standing military press. So just keep that in mind depending on your preference of exercises that you perform. these are very easy to store out of the way. They can hang on just about anything, or you can just put them together and toss them in a corner somewhere, and they'll never be in your way. All right, so let's talk about some basic pros and cons for these Mad Spotter hooks. Firstly, these hooks allow you to start your lifts with heavy dumbbells from a position of power. You don't even have to go heavy to find the benefit of using a hook like this. The other thing is that they have a very small footprint, so you can store them just about anywhere, which is an essential component for the home gym owner. You can hang them on the rack, you can hang them on the wall, or you can just toss them in the corner. So I think that's another major perk. Lastly, for a $60 price tag, I think these are a phenomenal buy, because if you were to buy any other spotter arm, they would be in the hundreds of dollars. They would take up a larger footprint, and it would be a little bit more cumbersome to set them up and then take them down. So overall, I think the pros are excellent. Now let's talk about the cons. I think the major con is going to be if you own the Power Block or the Dumbbells. These unfortunately will not work for you. Now that's not necessarily a con against Mad Spotter, it's just simply that they don't work right now. So until they come out with a new model that will work for those alternative dumbbells, then you're stuck with your standard heaving off of the knee. Or you can buy one of those much more expensive options in order to start from a position of maximal power. And then, I know this is a little bit nitpicky, but the feel of the neoprene, it's not the same as the feel of your knurled handle. So you lose that tactile sensation, and I would say that's kind of a con for these hooks, but you do get used to that over a period of time. So it's not the end of the world. The other thing is it does take a little bit of time to set these up. So you have to actually hook them on the bar, you have to have the bar in the right position, you have to make sure your J-cups are set up properly, and then you have to wrap this neoprene around the dumbbell once you get the dumbbell into position. Doesn't seem too bad, because it'll take maybe a minute to a minute and a half to set up. However, anytime you're changing the weight, you have to unrack and then re-rack a new set of dumbbells. So that, I'd say, kind of falls into the con territory, but at the end of the day, the setup is fairly minimal. So overall, what are my thoughts? I think for $60, every home gym owner should have a pair of Mad Spotter arms if you like to lift heavier for the flat bench, incline bench, decline bench, or military dumbbell press. So those, I think, are the main benefits of these Mad Spotter hooks, and at $60 shipped, you might as well get a pair. They store just about anywhere, as long as they work for your dumbbells. So just remember, the dumbbell handle has to be longer than 4.7 inches in order for it to fit, and it will not work with Power Blocks. So other than those, I think these are a great buy. All right, you guys, thank you for tuning in to Reviews and Rambles, where we will review some stuff and ramble a lot about that topic. So if you are interested in us reviewing any particular piece of equipment, let me know. It's possible that I already have that equipment in my home gym, and I'd be more than happy to review that for you. I will be moving around my gym and reviewing a number of pieces of equipment that people have asked me about frequently. So stay tuned. If you are interested in this kind of content, feel free to subscribe below. If you did like the video, we appreciate a thumbs up. All right, you guys, have a great day. We'll see you next time.